Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Shameless in Chicago. This is your host, Nin.
And I'm Luke.
And today we have a very special guest. I'm actually really excited about this one. We have Lily on the podcast.
Hey.
Woohoo. Hello, Lily.
Okay, so Lily, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, guys. My name is Lily. Well, I've known Nin for, I want to say, how far do we go back?
Oh my God, like sophomore, junior year of college?
Which was what year? Probably like
2017?
2017.
Yes, it was 2017, 2018.
Yeah. We met in 2018, I think, for my birthday.
Yeah, because we were out clubbing.
We were out clubbing that night.
We were out clubbing for sure.
We were having a good time.
Oh my God, so it's been 6 years now.
It's been 6 years.
Wow,
yeah,
mashallah.
so me and Nin have known each other since the undergrad days of college and basically have grown up with each other career-wise, personal, like...
I was her bridesmaid, guys. Like, we've grown a lot together.
Yeah.
We've presented research together.
Yes.
We are your nerdy best friends.
Literally, she's one that I could talk to about my personal struggles, if it came to school struggles, career struggles. Like, we've really, I feel like, grown with each other a lot.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And I know Luke is like a really cool friend of yours, and we vibe when we see each other. So I'm
I
excited
guess
to
I'm
be
all
here.
right. You know, I'm okay. I'm not that cool. Super cool.
It's always a good vibe when we get together.
Yeah. And a reason why I wanted to have you on the podcast today is because you are a smart, young woman, a professional. For those of you that don't know, because Lily's first time on the podcast, she too is a Latina woman with her master's in clinical psychology. Go
Yes, ma'am.
off. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
We
It's an
love
honor.
we love seeing women succeeding, especially Latina women.
I
Hell
appreciate
yeah.
that. I appreciate women in color in general.
Yeah.
Like women from our own backgrounds
Yeah.
succeeded in life.
Yeah.
I love it.
And so I think you are just a perfect person to have on this podcast with your master's in clinical psych, being a qualified mental health professional with many years of experience now in the fields and treating clients and helping clients and all of that. I think it would be great to just have the both of us sit here and discuss seasonal affective disorder, seasonal depression.
Yes.
So you're telling me I'm getting a double dose of psychoanalyzation today?
Yes. You
your
have
lucky
two
day.
therapists in the room.
And let's see if y'all can fix this.
The seasonal depression, the holiday blues, or professionally known as seasonal affective disorder.
Yep.
I call it the big sad.
The big sad.
Big sad. It's my big
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah. It's now the season.
It is. We've officially entered the last 3 months of the year. Well, now 2 actually.
Yeah.
Because we just entered November.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel that a lot of people experience the effects of sad or the seasonal blues, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Especially once those clocks changed. Like what? Sunday?
Oh my God. Literally
Yeah.
yesterday. Yeah.
Oh no. This morning I was all off. I said, wait a minute, is it earlier? Is it later? The sun still wasn't up, so I didn't care really. So I don't know what to do with this.
And now it's like, what, 5 p.m. kind of almost, and it's
Yeah.
already dark?
And I want to go home.
I'm literally ready to go to sleep.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a struggle. I think I've been late since October started every
Okay.
day pretty much to work because I just can't get myself out of bed.
And that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about when we talk about
Yeah.
SAD, sad.
Oh, perfect. Hit me with the sad.
Hit you with the sad.
I'm
Yeah.
already hit with
Okay,
the sad.
well, a little bit about seasonal affective disorder is that people used to refer to it as just strictly seasonal depression.
Yeah.
But as time has gone on and research has improved, it's called seasonal affective disorder because they realize that people's moods change. They either become depressed or they become anxious. So it's not just one or the other, it could be both.
Yeah.
And personally, I've experienced both, mostly on the anxiety side. And I felt invalidated because it was seasonal depression. I was like, I'm not really depressed, but I am anxious.
Seasonal anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it was. And then now that it's changed to seasonal affective disorder, I'm like, there's more than one of me.
I'm glad we could include you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I definitely experienced the depressive effects of that.
Me
Yeah.
too,
More
girl.
so than anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm very much, I love the sunlight and being
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D.
Oh.
We need that. That's essential. And I I 100% agree that we need as much sun as we can get.
Yeah.
So when there's less of it, I definitely feel on the depressed side of the day.
Okay, so when like the sun starts to set earlier and earlier, it's the depression that kicks in for you.
Yeah. Because I kind of feel like, oh my God, I don't get enough done in my day. Like it's already 5 p.m. It's already dark. Like you kind of get into that mode of, I want to go to bed, right? Like what you just said.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't feel like, that doesn't feel really nice at the end of the day. Cause you're like, I want to do more. Like there's more things that I want to do. But then it's like,
if anything,
so limited.
I feel like I'm disappointing not only myself, but those people I'm usually around, my boyfriend, my friends, my family. No, I want to be in bed by 5:30 in my pajamas with the laundry going. I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah, and like that's a symptom of depression, right? You want to sleep a lot and you just want to be in bed a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a seasonal thing, and not to get it confused with depression in general, but it's seasonal because once the sun comes up, you're like more motivated, you see the outside world. Right. But you guys just feel more of like a depressive, I just want to be in bed.
Right.
No.
So how would you differentiate for those who don't know the difference between like major depressive disorder versus seasonal affective disorder? Like what are the main differences? The main differences, you would say.
So I think both of us should kind of touch upon this based off of what we've been educated on and based off of what we see in clients, is that somebody with seasonal depression, first off, in the mental health realm, I definitely see an uptake of clients. Clients are more likely to show up. We have more intakes. More people are wanting to discuss what's going on with them. Whereas when the summertime comes, you see a fall in clients.
It's a huge night and day difference.
It really is. They don't show up. They're totally fine. Life is great.
Yeah.
And then people who have major depressive disorder have this constant feeling of no motivation, they're sleeping, they're not eating right, but it's not just because of the sun, it's because there's something deeper going on within them, and that it doesn't go away when the sun comes up.
Yeah. And I feel like also with the seasonal changes and everything, like we've talked about lack of light, feeling more tired or lethargic, and
becoming withdrawn.
Withdrawn is a huge symptom there. Those things play a role in people feeling the effects of like seasonal affective disorder. Yeah. And then wanting to seek help, wanting to, find a way to
correct themselves in a way.
Yes, basically.
Yeah. And what do you notice like in the shift with your clients between the ones that have major depressive disorder and the ones that have seasonal affective disorder? What's kind of that difference that you notice within people?
Well, I feel the ones that suffer with seasonal affective disorder, they're more able to function in, during the year, like especially in the summer months, right? We see like you talked about those type of clients who tend to cancel a lot in the summer, or they're just doing things, or they're being more socially active and all that. But when the season hits, that's when we start to see like, okay, maybe their functioning is now getting impacted, or they're just going through it basically. And I think that's kind of like the main difference right there, is that they're able to kind of like still participate in their life responsibilities and things. But then like when the season hits, it's like, okay, I'm not doing well in this area, or I'm missing a lot of work, or like, I'm not engaging with people the way I used to. Yeah.
And that's a good point, because Luke, like you mentioned, in the summertime, you're going to be active. You're going to see your friends.
I'm not even going to have an issue at this. The worst that I have anxiety during the summer, and it's all existential, and I feel that drives me to live my life a little bit more,
Yeah.
But when it comes to wintertime, I hate the cold. I can't afford to travel to somewhere warm, and I have to go out and work where I leave when it's dark. I get home when it's dark. I just feel like I'm at a constant loss during this time period.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do as well. Especially, and then with the seasonal affective disorder, there's also the more specific, the holiday blues. Have you heard about that one recently? It's like a newer thing, the holiday blues.
Yeah, I really feel that that's another factor that kind of contributes sometime to people's depression in this season.
Yeah, and for those of you listening, the difference that's been the holiday blues and seasonal affective disorder is that the holiday blues really just centers around the holidays. You start
the activities.
Yeah, the activities, the spending time with family. Maybe you don't have family. Maybe your family is the reason of your anxiety or your depression.
Or loss of family during the holidays.
Exactly. And also the money tied in with holidays, right? Are you traveling to see family? Are you spending money hosting people, or are you spending money on gifts?
Do you have lack of money to spend on people or gifts?
Exactly.
People are really going through it financially, right?
Exactly.
Or maybe you're expecting a lot of gifts and you aren't getting anything.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There's a lot of people who are really expecting that. That's what their happiness is derived off of. What can I open? What can people give me?
That is true.
And that might just really lead to your feeling of uneasiness.
Ooh.
And that's why I think as mental health professionals, we see an uptick in clients, because if you just talk about that and complain, quote unquote, complain to people about it, you're almost being judged about it. What do you mean you're sad when the sun goes down early?
Yeah.
I'm in this picture and I don't like it.
But it's a real thing, right?
Yeah.
Like we all agree that we can feel the effects of it one way or another. And it's something that I feel like needs to be talked about more, because I feel like the more it goes unnoticed or the more people ignore it, it can become something that you experience each year. And it's just like this cycle that you go through.
Yeah. So what are some symptoms that you see in seasonal affective disorder? How can people pinpoint that, okay, I'm having this seasonal affective disorder symptoms? What are some of the symptoms?
Yeah, I think some of the symptoms that we see is fatigue, right? An increase in we see
I'm going to start cutting them off. I'm sorry. Don't mind me.
Yep. We see fatigue, right? We're experiencing feeling more tired or more exhausted. We might overeat at this point, like we're, maybe comfort eating or just noticing that we're like gaining weight, let's say.
I did have a couple of Three Musketeers. I'm so sorry I lied to you.
I knew the candy was missing a little bit more. I knew it.
That's where it went.
Lily's just going to call me out. I'm going to say it's because of my sad.
No, but that's real, because I do that a lot, honestly. Another, social withdrawal.
Yeah.
You don't want to really engage with other people, start not wanting to participate in social activities.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels like more of a chore, really.
Yeah. And also the social isolation, I feel like increases. And especially since COVID, people are like, I don't want to get sick. I'm nervous to get sick. I don't want to get, especially with the holidays, if I'm spending time with grandparents or older people, you're going to experience more social isolation because you don't want to get those around you sick.
Wow. I definitely feel COVID has really, really changed how we kind of view holidays now too.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of feel like there's kind of like this numbness, just ennui, if you will, when it comes to like the seasonal affective, whatever we're gonna call it.
We can just call it the sad.
The sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to the sad, because when I think about it this week, our memories are tied to like our emotions, right?
Yeah.
Psychologists.
Yeah.
So when you're kind of numb to the world, you don't have a lot of emotion. The world starts to fly by. Is that going to start to cause like memory issues too in someone who could be affected by this?
Ooh, the memory issues and depression.
Yeah.
That one's a very sophisticated one. You have to be extremely depressed for it to affect your memories.
Okay. So I've got other memory issues then.
Yeah.
Probably a history of trauma there maybe as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Some complex PTSD we could maybe think about.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get into that at a private podcast.
Yeah.
It's a lot there.
It's a lot.
A lot to unpack.
Well,
a lot to unpack.
Because at the end of the day, memory that isn't forming is essentially your brain trying to suppress the trauma, suppressing this memory that's about to pop up,
right?
Because it's going to affect your functioning. At the end of the day, your brain is trying to protect you as much as possible. And that's why we suppress, and that's why we take out our anger on other people, because it's literally just your brain trying to protect itself.
Oh, wow.
Or you might find that you're just like dissociating like on a day-to-day basis because, you're like
you're depressed.
You're depressed. You're trying to block out those memories. Your mind, your brain's trying to protect you.
Your brain's trying to block out that you're depressed. Oh, that's denial, huh? Oh, there we go. Breakthrough.
We have another psychologist in the building here.
Yeah.
It's twice the effort, twice the work, twice the results.
Yeah. And also when you're feeling anxious, people will have anxiety attacks. And I think that's another important aspect to highlight with with the anxiety is just, you don't know what is causing it and you don't know what it's coming from or when something's going to hit you. Like somebody who deals with anxiety sometimes, it's like, I don't know when it's going to hit me. I have to be in the right circumstance. Yeah. And it's like, it's so specific to each person. It's like some people say like, it feels like I'm dying, or it feels like I'm having a heart attack. And it's like, one thing some people will do when they're having anxiety is they'll disassociate, like you said, and it's your way of your brain protecting yourself from having an anxiety attack, because that shit sucks.
Well, I feel like also everyone's triggers are individual, right?
Yeah.
And you can't fully avoid your triggers all the time. Like, you're going to be confronted one day with like experiencing a trigger, and it's just going to lead to feeling the anxiety, and then that could lead to a panic attack. Yeah. And it's just like, we never really know when we're going to encounter that.
Exactly. And that's why it's important to seek mental health professionals to pinpoint your traumas, pinpoint your triggers. That way you're not stuck avoiding them, but you face them, and that way you overcome them as well.
Right.
Sorry, this whole conversation just has me in like a chest clutch.
What are you feeling? Yeah, tell us. What are you feeling as we're conversating about this?
Honestly, I feel very empathetic, because when I start to think about someone with anxiety, I think about what it feels like in myself, and then I think in that it triggers some anxiety, because as I sit here, I don't know if you've noticed, I've hardly taken a breath because I'm afraid of breathing into this microphone. I'm anxious about everything, and that's a little bit heightened because of the season. It was a really nice day outside, though.
It was,
It was a really nice day. Yeah. I could not work outside. I definitely feel the more we talk about something, it's like a trigger. I like to push things under the rug. I'm a look the other way, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah. So the moment that we start talking about something like this, I'm like, that's a problem I have to probably deal with soon.
Your fight or flight's kicking in.
Yeah.
And you can't necessarily flight from this because we're having a conversation.
Exactly. And I would never, but I'm frozen right now. So I'm thinking, oh boy, this is really taking a turn.
Oof. Yeah.
We're gonna encounter some triggers here as we talk about this.
Let's keep it going.
Bye. I love Lily. Oh my God. You're like one of my favorite therapists. Oh my God.
I think we should bring Lily back for like a therapy hour.
But no, Lily, honestly, just to praise you real quick, you are such a smart woman, mashallah. Like, you're an amazing therapist.
So sweet.
The empathy that you give to people, your undivided attention, your feedback is just so great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And like, for those of you that are looking for a therapist, this is the type of therapy that you need. This is the type of therapist you should be looking for.
Definitely.
So when you're looking for a therapist, it should really just be somebody like Lily, somebody that's giving you their undivided attention, somebody who's asking you questions to challenge yourself, somebody who's providing feedback to not only make sure that they're listening, but also in a way where you're better able to understand what you are saying.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
What are some other qualities you think people should look for in a therapist to make sure they kind of match? What is the importance of rapport when having a therapist?
I feel that coming from somebody who's experienced also going to therapy and like knowing the importance of like finding someone who's a good fit, I think it really is like that gut feeling you get, I guess. Like, you kind of know off the bat when you hit it with somebody or you don't, right? And if you feel like they're, like, you get a good gut feeling about that, I think you should listen to that.
Yeah.
If you don't, I also feel that you should listen to that and, you know, probably find someone else who would better, you know, match with you, with whatever that looks like. Ultimately, like, just knowing, like, if it feels good for you. I personally look at, you know, like, is this someone that can maybe relate to me too?
Oh, okay.
Or, like, you know, maybe even like culturally too, like, are they someone that would understand maybe some of the personal struggles that I deal with, or would I feel like they would want to know about that too? Like, do they have the cultural humility to like want to explore that?
Oh yeah, that's a very good point.
Right.
And also with clients, how have you seen a difference with clients you have good rapport with versus clients you don't have good rapport with? Like those that trust you and those that maybe might be more on the edge of trusting a stranger.
Well, I feel that, you know, when I try to build good rapport with a client, I always want to just like be myself first. Cause like, I feel when you meet somebody new, like as a therapist, you don't want to come off like too textbooky, you would say, or like, you know, like you're the expert. I definitely want to be like on that same level of like, you know, me and you are just humans. We're having a conversation kind of like this right now. Yeah. And I feel that really allows me and the other person to like ease into it, like not feel like it's like a overwhelming thing. Cause I know stepping into that first intake or whatever could produce some anxiety for somebody.
It's horrifying.
You know that.
I've been to therapy. I've actually only had one therapist. I actually suck out a gay therapist.
Oh,
okay. So you see that's important
Yes.
for you because that's an identity that you align with, right?
So someone told me that, it's awkward if you'd have to explain to a straight doctor why there's a bruise in the back of your throat. So why would you want to walk through the sexual intricacies of your life with someone who does know nothing about it and has no interest in it rather than someone who has an in-depth knowledge of it? So
Right.
yeah, I specifically looked for a gay psychologist.
Yeah.
I loved him. We were like this.
Yeah.
We were tight.
that.
I did mainly like Zoom sessions because it was winter time, seasonal, and the moment we brightened up the days I was out there. But
Yeah.
I always remember that man. I loved him. But the one thing I could always the note I had, he just listened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
That's
he
important.
just listened, but I didn't feel that there was any. We didn't really work out anything. I just spilled a bunch of stuff out of him. Maybe that's what I needed because I
Yeah.
did feel great
Yeah.
after it. But I don't know. I feel like I kind of wanted a little bit more.
And like,
Yeah.
that's the thing that's important is that a therapist is there to listen to you. And that's why people who grow such an attachment to their therapist, you have to remember that you grow an attachment to this person because they're listening to you. They are providing you what other people in your life are not providing you with.
Yeah.
And it's that judgment free. They are not judging you. They are your biggest fan. And as therapists ourselves, I think we can say this is that just we're listening to them and we end up like caring and loving our clients so much. They become people
100%.
we care about.
Yeah.
And from a client side of it, because I'm not a therapist, sometimes you just need to spill your guts to somebody who does not matter to you at all. Because at the end of the day, that person's going to go home and deal with their own problems.
Yep.
And whatever you said to them is
Yeah.
all in the books. You can just
Yep.
get it out. And it's amazing. It's 10 pounds, 30 pounds, 4,000 pounds off your chest.
Yep.
Yeah. I
And
agree with that.
It's just that feeling that somebody else knows about this trauma or this feeling or this intrusive thought that I don't have to carry with me on my own, that somebody else knows about it.
Yeah. And I think going off the question that you asked me earlier about like what's important to build that rapport, I think hearing both of your guys' responses, creating a safe space for somebody is really important too.
Oh, yeah.
Because if they don't feel safe, they don't feel
They can't open up.
They can't open up. How are we supposed to get anywhere?
Yeah.
How are we supposed to know and recognize what you're going through if you don't feel comfortable to, allow yourself to do that?
Yeah. And I think that's very important as well. So another thing that I kind of want to ask, and I think most people are interested in, is as a therapist, what is something you recommend to clients that are having seasonal affective disorder or like the holiday blues? What are some forms of things you would want them to do?
Help. It's because, it's not bad right now, but the moment the snow touches down at sticks, we're done.
Right.
Yeah.
We're done.
I hear that.
How can people prepare?
Well, first, I'm all about like finding like natural ways to like boost our serotonin
Me
and like,
too.
Enhance our mood.
I try to
Yeah.
I have those like fancy Philips lights I spent so much money
Yeah.
on, and I try to keep like a daylight timer on. I want, so it's dark in the morning. I have a daylight timer and just one light comes up and it simulates the sunrise and
Yeah.
it helps me wake up a little bit more.
Does that help you though?
It does
think
because
does?
it will force me to get up. The lights are on,
love
so
that.
you have to get up. There's no going back. I have a light bar. It's behind my boudoir or my dresser, and it's like a big sunrise. And that the first time you look at the light, I feel like you're awake. You're up.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
Your circadian rhythm has
For
activated.
sure. Yeah, that's a huge part. I was going to say like light therapy is like 100% something that I recommend.
Yes. And it's research backed. They came out with research and they saw an improvement in women and their moods.
Now, vitamin D lights, though, you cannot stay under those for too long.
Right, exactly. So for the light therapy, there are just these light therapy boxes and you just point it at yourself and you only need it, I think, for about 15 minutes.
They say like 10 to 15 minutes is recommended. What you should have. Yeah.
And then you'll see a boost in your mood and all of
For
that.
sure.
So that's nice that it's research backed.
But if you can also get outside when you can to just like, get as much sunlight as you can, that's another great way to
Absorb it as
also-
much as you can.
Yes. Whether that's like a walk down the street really quick on your lunch break, right?
Yeah.
Or like if you enjoy just like going on a walk with your dog, let's say if you have a pet.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like.
I say try some indoor plants. Try keep something alive. Keep
Oh, that's a
care of
good
something.
one.
I have a cat. I don't gotta care about that. But I have like a hydroponics system. I grew jalapenos last December in my bathroom.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
and
impressive.
I felt proud of that every day. I woke up and said, "Those are my jalapenos." I think it helped my.
That's That's pride right there.
Right? You watch it grow. I had a lot of jalapenos.
Yeah, that's cute.
They're good too.
Yeah.
No, I like that one.
Mm-hmm. Also, just like, supplements. I feel like that's something that people kind of forget about. Like, we're deficient in certain vitamins that are necessary for us to like function the way that we do even in the summertime, right? So that's like you said, vitamin D is something that we lack vitamin D, and we can get that through the sunlight. We can get that through certain supplements or even foods. Eating like fish is really helpful to gain vitamin D again.
Yeah, and taking vitamin D supplements is very important. I would highly recommend you get tested by your doctor if you can.
Very true.
Don't take too much vitamin D because that will lead to vitamin D toxicity, because vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin, meaning that it stays in your body. You okay?
Luke's face.
Just gave me anxiety about vitamins.
Yeah, no, it takes a lot to have vitamin D toxicity.
I know.
But I'm just saying, like, don't go to Target and get like 20,000 IU of vitamin D and take it every single day.
Right.
No, you should be good at the minimum. Ask your doctor.
Yeah, definitely ask your doctor about that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good one. Don't forget your supplements. What are some other things you would recommend?
I would definitely recommend seeking therapy at that time.
Yeah.
Honestly, like psychotherapy, just talking to somebody would be really important to just, like Luke said, get it out.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody who's going to listen to you.
Better out than in, because it will rot you.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Right.
And it might be best to talk at a time when you're feeling this way rather than when you're happy. Because when you're happy, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that trauma doesn't matter. We're fine today.
Right.
I'm also in this picture and I don't like it.
And I feel like, when you start that journey and you come in at a time like this season, right? Maybe there's like shit that under the rug that like you haven't really explored yet, or you haven't really found the underlying reason for that could be affecting your depression.
Yes.
So it's a good time to explore about yourself as well.
Get to know yourself.
Yeah, it's very important because a lot of the times I'll find with clients is that their anxiety and their depression is from something that happened. And this goes beyond depression. This goes beyond anxiety. This can also be for people who have schizophrenia, who have bipolar. These more severe mental health disorders are believed to have been triggered, 1, by genetics and 2, by trauma. So when you have these things, it's best to talk to a mental health professional to understand what is your anxiety trigger, what is your depressive trigger, because the holiday season might be a depressing time for you, not because the sun goes down earlier, but it might be because, dang, the holidays sucked when I was a kid.
Right.
Something
traumatic might have happened to me when I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
This happened.
Exactly. And that's why it's important to see a professional as well.
For sure.
But we understand that, access to treatment is difficult and all of that. I really recommend you go on the website, meetmonarch.com. ZocDoc is another good one.
Yeah.
Those are all really good ways to find a therapist. Call your health insurance company, see how they can help you.
Yeah.
Reach out to a friend. And I know saying reaching out to a friend is like difficult. You're not going to call up a friend and be like, hey, I'm feeling a little depressed today, if you don't have that type of relationship. But you can spark a phone call and you can just have a normal conversation.
Help you help yourself.
Exactly.
I know for me personally, just like having a conversation like with somebody, like my family, a friend, even if I'm going through something that caused me like anxiety that day, or I was feeling a little depressed, just having that simple conversation like really changes my mood.
Yeah.
So I definitely encourage that is another way to help combat the sad, right? Is to just force, I don't want to say force yourself, but just like
you're gonna have
literally
to.
like
force yourself.
Force
yourself.
Yeah, okay. Force yourself to engage and go out there and do those activities. Say yes to friends inviting you, go out. Like if the more that you're saying no and wanting to just stay under bed, that's when you need to consider like
you're digging the hole for yourself. Yeah. And it's better you say yes to these things, and it's better you engage in your community, like go help out at a soup kitchen, go donate some clothing, go
spread joy.
Exactly.
This is gonna sound corny, but like I feel that just engaging in like the holiday activities could really help.
Yeah.
Like whatever traditions you guys like engage with, I don't know what that is, but like for me, Christmas time is like when I really love spending time with my family, because we do like posadas, we do the Hispanic Christmas music and everything, and it just like it brings me back. Right?
Yeah, it brings that joy. For me personally, during Thanksgiving time, I like to volunteer at soup kitchens. I think it's so much fun. And just seeing the joy of these people that don't have a family and seeing their struggles and actually talking to them and giving them food at the same time. Like, you don't have to have a family to go home to. We are your family here at the soup kitchen. And we're there every single year. We have people that come every single year.
I love that.
And we have families that bring in their kids because they can't afford the meals.
And imagine like how much that means to someone who like maybe doesn't have like family or they're going through grief.
Yeah.
Like just those simple, like feeling like they belong.
Yeah. And it's that community, right? It's that we're there every single year and they know they're going to see some familiar faces every year. And we're going to be like, oh, hey, how are you? How's it been this past year? And it's like that depression, that anxiety of like, what am I going to do this Thanksgiving is almost gone because they know they have this second family that's looking forward to seeing them. So
what would you guys say for someone who is like, maybe they're not around family this year, something happened or they're just not able to spend time with family? What would be some ways that like they could try to get out there, like build that community?
You have to find a chosen family. You have to find a community. You have to put whether it's going to church, whether it's going to a gay bar, if you know you're LGBT, you need to be surrounded by your people.
Yeah.
It could be going to just go find a job to where you could find friends and meet around because you know a lot of people are working during the holidays.
Yeah.
But you have to put yourself in a position to be surrounded by people. If that's the case, you can't expect someone to come out of thin air. You have to fight for yourself.
Yeah. Very true.
You have to really put yourself out there. Like, for example, my sister is not going to be with us this holiday season. She's out studying at a different school in a different country. And one thing that she did is that we went to church and she got into contact with an Assyrian girl. And she was like, hey, how's it going? And then she's like, hey, I'm going to be at school in your country. And their girl was like, oh my God, yeah, definitely come over for Christmas. Like, we'll go to church together. But my sister had to put herself out there for that.
She like shot her shot. Is that what they say? Like,
she shot her shot.
She did.
She got it. She scored.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you have to do. And reach out to like a random person on Instagram, you know, like
Bumble has a friend section now, y'all.
Ooh.
Like, go for it.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one as well.
Yeah. Same thing with like, you know, we're talking about like just shooting your shot and like trying to like force yourself to do these things. That also means just like doing your hobbies too. Like getting back into that because that's something that we fall out of line with when we are affected by SAD. Yeah. Right. Like if you enjoyed reading a book or if you enjoy painting or going to a cycle class, you know, like keep doing those things. Yeah. Keep showing up for yourself in that way because the more you do that, the more you're going to allow yourself to just be who you are and not let that SAD consume you.
Yeah. And that's another important part is that working out, exercise has been shown to improve your mood within 10 weeks the same way an antidepressant will.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's so insane.
Crazy.
Natural medicine right there.
Natural medicine. And
you're like, eh.
I'm not going to the gym.
You know what? But it doesn't even have to be like high intensity. No. Like, for example, for me, it was yoga.
It's just activity then. Yeah.
It's the community of the activity.
Oh, yeah. I see. I see. You're surrounded by people working towards a common goal. I see.
Exactly. So it's not about doing the high intensity exercise, which the research that I'm citing is a high intensity. Like you are working out because of the endorphins that get released in your brain. But I think we can take it a step further. And like, for example, something like yoga isn't high intensity. Like I'm not having a 200 beats per minute heart rate, but I am working with a community.
But I think it's just like being active in general. I think
and knowing that you're taking care of your health.
Yeah.
And that also goes into eating well during the holidays.
Yes.
Because processed foods.
Oof, I was going to touch on that because I was going to say like gut health. Like if you really think about it, our gut can like get fucked during the holidays.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. Like we're drinking more probably. We're eating more, especially.
More sweets.
Yeah. And 95% of your serotonin is produced in the gut.
That is crazy.
95%.
So we see that it's a huge
part
of our mood.
Yes, and that study is very recent. I believe it was 2021.
I love that you're like research back with this.
I love it because it's so important because in America especially, we have a high processed food diet.
Oh my God. We were just talking about that on the way here.
Yeah, and that gut health, when you're eating high processed foods, it's not good, and your gut is absorbing it, and whatever it's absorbing is it's taking it to your brain. So if you're eating high inflammatory foods, it's going to inflame your brain. And a part of anxiety is having inflammation in the brain. So
what?
Yeah. So another thing you can do is take turmeric pills, because turmeric is anti-inflammatory. So it will help you. And then also eat foods that are anti-inflammatory. Right. So
turmeric may impact people with bipolar disorder.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good. Is it bipolar disorder, or is it the medication that they take for
bipolar disorder?
Okay. That's an interesting one. So yeah, take what's good for you, but also, eat good foods that are good for you.
I think that's sometimes easier said than done, though, right? Because like we're hungry when we get out of work.
You
right?
can't just have one chip. I had what Three Musketeers, Twix.
Right.
Yeah.
A bag of popcorn.
Yeah.
So just like maybe keeping in mind like healthy alternatives, right?
Or plan ahead. Like, you're going to be hungry, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Maybe pre-plan the day before when you're not, or cook when you're not hungry.
Yeah.
That's a big one too. Cook when you're not hungry.
Get hungry.
Because by the time you're done cooking, you'll be hungry. But at least your body will thank itself. And that's what will be a good thing.
Right. Instead of spending that money on junk throughout the week, maybe grocery shop. Set yourself up for success. But along with some veggies, right? Like make it balance is what I'm saying. Like everything is balance. If you can keep things in balance, your life is just gonna flow much better. So of course you're gonna one day mess up, maybe have a cheat meal, because it's unrealistic to expect. Well, I'm not gonna cook maybe every day,
right?
But I will try to maybe find a healthy alternative or try to balance it out.
Right. Like for example, my vice is soda. I love Coca-Cola. We know I love my Coca-Cola. But recently I've discovered Olipop.
Ooh,
and
that's a better alternative, right?
And it's good for your gut health.
It's a win-win.
Exactly.
I love that.
So that's my alternative.
My alternative is that I smoke a lot of weed.
Okay.
But coffee. I drink coffee. It's anti-inflammatory, and it actually kind of gives me the same euphoria as smoking weed, but I am not lethargic and my brain isn't as slow. So that's kind of my simple swap.
That's a good one too. I know you don't drink alcohol, but did you know that drinking coffee is actually good for alcoholics because it helps clean out your liver?
Let me go tell all of Ireland. I'll be right back.
So your mom's side of the family?
No, Mexicans too, though, really.
My boyfriend's Mexican.
I don't know about your guys' cultures, but Mexicans, we get down in the holidays, right? Our family start to drink. That's like how we celebrate. So I think that's a good thing to consider.
Drink your coffee.
One of my alternatives has been, I love ice cream. I have to have it almost every night.
Oh,
but now I switched to, what is it? Like the Greek
yogurt,
ice cream, whatever.
I do Raisin Bran instead of ice cream sometimes because I still like to have like a bowl of something and it's good for fiber.
Okay. That's good.
Raisin Bran?
Shh. Raisin Bran. Don't come for me.
Surprised?
Don't come for me.
Nobody say they like Raisin Bran.
Raisin Bran's my favorite cereal. Okay. I ain't ever seen two pretty best friends together. That's me and Raisin Bran.
That's me and Lily right now, but go off.
Lily's the pretty best friend.
Wow.
You suck.
Dang.
Is there anything else you guys would like to add before we wrap up?
Well, if you're experiencing any really hard thoughts during this time, if you're feeling suicidal, if you're just on that edge of the sea where you feel like you can't anymore, please talk to somebody.
Yes.
Please, like that is so important. Take care of yourself. Talk to a friend. Talk to a family member. Take that step for yourself because there's people in the world that love you and care about you, and I'm sure that it would impact a lot of people more than you know.
Yeah, and the suicide hotline is now 988. So it is not a full phone number you have to dial. It's just 988.
Someone should tell Logic to change his song title.
Does he have a song?
He has the whole suicide hotline in a song title.
Oh, I mean, you could still call it. It'll still work.
Oh, good.
But it's easier to remember 988 like you remember 911. So,
yeah.
And make sure to go on Meet Monarch, ZocDoc, reach out to a community mental health center.
Reach out or see what local churches have, because some local churches, especially in Chicago, do hold a bi-monthly 45-minute session with a free therapist.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I did not know about that one.
Yes, I believe, I don't know which one. I know it's a Tabernacle. It's near the south side, I believe. But they do offer twice a month therapists come in and you get like a 45-minute session with them. It's to give back to the community.
I love that.
I love that.
There's also, for those who are going through grief or loss of any kind through the holidays, there's a lot of grief share groups, support groups throughout the state. So definitely go on their website, griefshare.com, and I'm sure they have, something in your area.
And if you're probably an alcoholic or a recovering alcoholic, you can also Google AA groups. 99% of the time, they are free, and they are groups led by fellow alcoholics and recovering alcoholics. So if you feel like the holidays is a trigger for you for drinking, go to these groups, and you guys will have each other to support one another to not fall into that. All right. Well, that is all we have for you guys today. Thank you, Lily, so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun. I love, by the way, guys, Airwave Studio, 10 out of 10.
Oh, thank you so much.
They
thank
really,
you so much.
The experience that you're going to have here is amazing. They really take care of it, and they care about their clients. So
thank you.
Can't recommend it enough.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Join us next time as Nin gets into a boxing match with a kangaroo. Will she win? Who knows?
Who has the bigger pouch in this?
I don't know. You got a Joey in there?
Oh my gosh. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.
Bye.